Hey everybody, welcome back to episode 18. Appreciate you joining in. As always, I continue to watch and continue to share. As I always say, any comments or any questions you have, drop a comment below. And I definitely try to get to it in the next episode. I remember 2 weeks ago when I came out with the episode talking about the bear market coming up. A lot of people reached out to me, asked me, hey, what was going on? What are you seeing in the market? And pretty much like I explained on the episode, the market, just the technical things, we keep reaching new highs. So pretty much what I was saying is, eventually we're going to have that downturn, right? Which it did come, as I anticipated. The market as a whole just was going down, down, down these past 2 weeks, especially last week, Monday through Wednesday. The market pretty much continued to fall down. Some of the puts that I was in, turned out to be good puts just because, you can see where we was at before versus where we're at, now. Before when we was just getting out of that curve, late 2020, early 2021, Q1 2021, you can see a lot of things, going up, right? Because we're coming out of that slump, which made sense. But now, now we have vaccines out. Now people are starting to travel more. States are starting to open up. Countries are starting to open up more. A lot of these stocks are at, some of these stocks that are rated up high, high value stocks are a little, too overvalued, right? So they have to correct, right? You're going to have that time that all these stocks are going to have the correction period, and the market as a whole is going to, seem as if it's going down. But am I saying that we're going to reach where we was before, 2019? No, I don't think we actually go back to that level, because I think these stocks as a whole, as you look, those stocks that had those big booms in 2021, I think they're good stocks. I think they're going to continue to grow because the world is going to change. Just, we're already changed just to people working from home or people not traveling as much, business travel, things like that. So a lot of industries are now changed for moving forward. So 2-3 years from now, a lot of these industries you're not going to see them how they were 2-3 years before Corona came and happened. So with that being said, a lot of these stocks that you saw going up, I think they're going to go down, but then they're going to continue to go back up. It's just going to be 2-3 months down the road for me from now, right? So I anticipate a lot of these stocks, to have these downturns over the next 2 to 3 months, continue to go down. I know last year in August was a pretty much tough month for a lot of stocks. I think August is a tough month for stocks all the time. So I'm very excited to see what comes next month, see what the market does, see how it reacts to certain things. And still keep in mind, infrastructure packages, which I spoke about a couple of episodes before, a couple of months back. Things as far as electric, EV, a lot of countries are moving forward to EV only. They don't want to deal with any, gas powered type of vehicles. So I'm excited to see what a lot of automakers and things are going to continue to do and transform to meet that demand, right? Because right now supply is low. You only have a certain amount of car companies that offer electric vehicles, or the electric vehicles already out. But you also see a lot of car companies coming out with electric vehicles now, taking pre-orders for electric vehicles. You're seeing buses becoming electric, even the tractor and farm equipment is becoming electric. So I think, me personally, my portfolio, I want to position it, get in the game ahead. So even 2-3 months, we've been smarter to go ahead and start moving your portfolio and adjusting it towards, more of electric and more of the future, I would say, versus the past, right? Yeah, you can look into some of those reopening plays, but also plan for the future and some of those stocks that are going to continue to thrive off of bills and packages that are passed that benefit these type of stocks. So when you look into the infrastructure package, you're going to have a lot of electric stocks, solar stocks, a lot of broadband type of stocks, internet type of stocks. When I refer to broadband, they're going to see them boom because of what's in the package and what they get throughout that package. So that's what I'm very, looking out for, anticipating. And until that package is passed, like I said a couple episodes ago, I'm going to continue to focus on those type of stocks. Well, not focus, but keep them in the back of my head, and keep a position in them, just because I know eventually they're going to eventually boom. A lot of stocks, so let's, speaking to electric stocks or solar panel, things like that. So you have SunPower, Sunrun, those type of stocks. Those are good stocks to go ahead and get your portfolio into, and go ahead and build your portfolio up. And that's what I'm doing, just because eventually those stocks are going to see a run. They're going to become more and more valuable the more and more we switch to electric and electric grids and things like that. They're going to become more and more valuable. And I think electric is here to stay. I definitely think solar power, wind power, things like that, those type of powers are here to stay. Natural gas versus our old ways, because obviously climate change and things like that affects the earth. So a lot of more countries are getting involved in that. A lot of the United States joining back with a lot of countries getting back into that, focus on climate change. So you're going to see a lot of those stocks become more valuable moving forward. And I think right now with the Democrat-led House and the Democrat-led Senate, and you have a Democrat in the presidency, I think you're going to see a lot of those electrics type stocks and things like that continue to grow as long as that lineup is still there. So that's what I'm focused on right now. Like I said, a lot of people reached out to me just wondering, why was I seeing the bear market, or did I think it was going to last for a long time? And that's what I'm here to say. I don't think the bear market's going to last forever, but I do think a bear market is here, and it's going to continue to stay here at least for the next 2-3 months until something is passed, until that infrastructure is passed, or until certain things change. We have, like I spoke in the last episode, the Delta variant with the coronavirus, right? So until that scare is gone, you're going to see a lot of the market continue to be prepared for that to take over, if it was to take over, right? And if it doesn't take over, cool, you're going to see those stocks continue to rise. But until those type of things are cleared up, I see the market continue to waver, continue to go up and down, up and down. Yes, you're going to continue to have your spikes, but also as a whole, you're going to continue to see it, take little notches down, 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 because, we're at an all-time high. It has so much stuff, so many catalysts going against it, that it's going to be hard for it to fight against all that right now until something is passed or something is changed with, like I said, the Delta variant or things like that. You're not going to see a lot of stocks really explode, because they've already exploded. They already had that big boom from 2020 to where we're at now. So that's why I want a lot of people to focus on. Definitely keep your eye out on that. For me personally, I was focused on a lot of puts these past 2 weeks, just because I already knew, like I just said before, that the market was taking a downturn. So I'm more focused on puts than calls. But when I look at my calls, options, when I'm talking about option trading, when I'm looking at calls, I'm looking ahead of time. So I'm looking, October, December, things like that, or even next year, because right now I don't see it, really taking off like it should. I see a lot of stuff weighing the market down. And if it does take off, perfect, fine. You have a little small position in that call, so you go up. But at least you're prepared for that. You're not really overextending yourself and see yourself losing a lot of money and panicking. That's the main thing. I think it's episode 2 or 3, I called it panic money, because that's exactly what it is. A lot of people panic. You see the market going down as a whole, and you think, oh man, I got to sell because I don't know when it's going to go back up. So to avoid that, you got to have these barriers put in place. You got to have these put calls put in place, or have a game plan put in place to know, okay, I'm going to sit out, get out of this stock for right now, let it drop. Once it drops, then I get back into it. Or as I always say, you can average down. You just got to make sure you have some gunpowder to do that. If you don't have, any ammo, any cash to average down, then it doesn't do you any good to hold on to a stock and just sit on it, wait till it average down, wait till it goes back up. You definitely want to be smart about it. Me personally, when I do those type of things, if I don't have any cash available to average down, I'm gonna get out of it, let it drop down, then I get to it when I think it's the bottom. And keep in mind, you're not gonna always be perfect when you hit the bottom. Of course, you might get in, let's say a stock goes from $5 to $1, you might get in that too, and then it drops down to 1. But just know you got in closest to the lowest points. That's what you're aiming for. You're never gonna reach the bottom. So that don't even, let yourself down or get down. You say you get into it at $2 versus it getting to it at 1, because that's the name of the game. You're never going to really catch the bottom. So just keep that in mind. Play stocks smart. Don't try to catch a knife. And when I refer to don't try to catch a falling knife. Don't try to catch a stock that's going down. That's not really a good stock, right? Because if it's not a good stock and it's going down, it's just going to continue to go down. Be smart about the stocks that you're investing in. For me personally, like I continue to say, I'm focused on infrastructure plays. I'm focused on plays that are continue to grow. So like Apple, Amazon, things like that. Those stocks, yeah, they're going to have their dip, but they're also going to continue to grow because they have so many other catalysts going along with it. They're big companies. They're wide range. There are multiple industries, especially Amazon. When you look at them, maybe looking into electric vehicles or taking over an electric company, that's something that is major for them. If it does happen, then you're going to see that stock have another catalyst to continue to grow. Tesla, another example of that. They're looking to getting into solar power. Well, I think they're already into solar power. So that is something that can take that stock to move it even higher, right? It continue to push those stocks up, and up. Tesla's also in, I believe, space as well. So all those type of catalysts are going to continue to drive these type of stocks up because they're wide range, and those are the type of stocks I would say, I would want to get into. Like I always say, I'm not a financial advisor, so this is not any financial advice to go buy or sell any type of stock. Definitely not a financial advisor, just here to tell you about stocks that I'm into, tell you ways how I trade and the ways that I think when I'm trading. But definitely, do your own due diligence. Do your own research, go get your own knowledge out there and figure out about each stock you want to get into. And then just have a game plan. Like I always want to tell people, have game plans, have a way to get out if things go bad, or have a way to average down if things go bad. That way, because nothing's perfect. Don't ever expect, to get into a stock, get into a stock at the bottom and you get out at the very, very top. That would never happen. That's never happened to me. So I wouldn't plan on that. What you want to do is plan on getting to a stock at a right point, at a point that you feel is one of the lowest. And then once you see that stock start to rise, get out where you're comfortable at. Don't be too greedy. Definitely take your money versus, being too greedy and losing your money. So that's definitely what I want people to focus on right now. Like I said, the bear market continues, it's going to continue to go for me personally, at least for the next 2 to 3 months. And then after that, I start looking into more, putting more money into certain stocks that I think is going to continue to grow. But for right now, I would say sit on your hands. That's what I'm doing right now. You don't have to always trade. You can be smart about it. You can just pretty much watch from the sidelines, because that can avoid you from losing money. When you're sitting on the sidelines watching, it's never a bad thing, because at least you have your money in the bank and you're just waiting. You're building information and you're getting a good strategy to go in there and buy the right stock at the right time. So that's definitely what I want people to focus on. Didn't want to hold you all that long on this episode, but I definitely want to, reach out. Like I said, a lot of people reach out to me, concerned about certain stocks that they're in. And like I always tell everybody, hey, definitely do your research. All I can tell you is the research that I have, that I know about the stock. And as I always say, I can't tell you whether to buy or sell or, I'm not a financial advisor or anything like that. But what I can tell you is all the research that I have. And from there, you make your own decision. But just make sure you're making the best decision for you, versus making a decision that you think is going to, make you a lot of money. Because 9 out of 10, when you go and you're trying to make that big bang, that's when you lose a lot, because you're not really thinking clearly, you're not really looking into it, and you're just aiming for the big target. And that's when you see yourself, something happens and you lose a lot of money. Because if you've been in the stock market for long enough, you realize, okay, anything can happen, right? It doesn't have to be anything wrong with my company. It doesn't have to be anything wrong with the product or the drug or whatever the case may be, or the service. All that can be perfect, but then Corona can happen, and then you see the stock market go down for no reason, right? So when Corona happened, you saw the stock market drop. Nothing was wrong with those stocks, nothing was wrong with those companies or those drugs or anything like that. It was just an outside factor that affected that. So you definitely want to always be prepared for that, because that's when you can see yourself losing a lot of money that you wasn't anticipating to lose, and that's when you start panicking and hitting that sell button, and that's when you actually lose, And I had one more comment. Somebody reached out to me about crypto again. Like I always say, be careful when you're into any of that. I did hear about the TikTok ban. So I believe if you're a TikToker, you can't really talk or promote about any cryptocurrency. That's what I heard. Don't know if that's 100% true or not, but that definitely will, that type of news can, of course, affect the value of the currency, the cryptocurrencies right now, and that can drag it down even more. What I always tell people when it comes to any crypto, be smart about it. Be prepared for a roller coaster, because that's what it is right now. Until it's regulated, until it's actually put into, control of governments and things like that, I don't see the roller coaster really stopping. So definitely be smart. Don't put anything in it that you're not willing to lose, just like the stock market, but especially with any cryptocurrency, because those type of things, they go up, they go down, they go up, they go down. And you really it's all about timing. Really, it's all about timing when it comes to that. And you don't really want to be caught into it at a bad time, because it can be bad. It can be a bad time for a very long time. I would say, a year, 2 years, you can see yourself down. And if you put money into it that you wasn't really expecting to not see for another year or two, that can really take effect, and then that's when you have to hit that sell button. So what I want to always tell people when it comes to any crypto, be smart about it. Me personally, I think it's just a lot of stuff going against it right now. Like I said before, I do see a spike, right? So, you see these little spikes. I see a big spike eventually coming up for it. And then that's when you're going to see a lot of people that had that bag, that's been holding it since, people that bought it at the 40, 50 cent range as far as Dogecoin, or the people that bought it at the 60 or the 50,000 range as far as Bitcoin. You're going to see a lot of those people get out of it because now they're broke even. They don't want to, play with it anymore. They got their money back. They didn't lose any too much, or they might have made a couple of $1,000s out of it. So now they're just ready to get out of it because now they saw, this a roller coaster. They don't want to really be too invested into it. And this is their chance of getting out. And when that happens, you're going to see a lot of sale. And when a lot of people are selling, the value is just going to go down. And then just with everything going against it, I mean, to be honest, what they would need is just good news, right? You're going to need the government, especially America right now, our government system. In the summer, you're going to need for them to really, okay, let's regulate this, let's get into it, which, a lot of people already know cryptocurrency can be regulated. Personally, I feel it can definitely be regulated. It can be traced, as you can see. You've seen a lot of hackers coming up. The most recent hack, a lot of people are they're using Bitcoin to get their money from governments and things like that, from companies. But at the same time, that also is being traced, right? So the most recent one with the gas pipeline, they was able to, track those people down. And a lot of people, the whole thing around cryptocurrency is that it's untraceable. But once you realize it is traceable, that kind of takes some of the appeal away from it. But I think ultimately it can definitely be regulated. And it'll be a good thing, to see where we go as far as if we're going to regulate it, if we're going to accept it, if we're going to, let it be a part of our currency system moving forward. My personal opinion, I honestly don't know. I'm more like 70-30, 70 that we're not, 30 that we are, because I'm definitely optimistic about it. But at the same time, I don't really think that, I don't think the benefits outweigh the risk with it in the minds of the people that have control and have power over that. So I don't think it's going to really get passed. And I don't think any of that's going to really get regulated because the people that have the power to regulate it really don't want it regulated because it then threatens other things that they have, power and have, they have influence and things like that into. So I would say, personally, be careful if you're into it because it can definitely have a big downturn. When that downturn comes, it's going to be big, and it's going to just continue to go down. It's going to go down real fast. So you definitely don't want to be into it, like I said before, when it hits that downturn, because you're not going to know when to get out. Even the most experienced traders don't know when to get out. So I would say if you don't really have the money to play with or the money to lose, don't put any into it because that's not something that you really want to, it's like a gamble, pretty much that's just a big gamble. And you can really see yourself lose a lot of money playing around with those type of things. So definitely be careful. If like I said, if you have to get into it, that's fine. Make sure it's at its bottom, or make sure it's near its bottom. So when you get into it, you don't have to worry about losing so much if it was to, go bad and drop down overnight or anything like that. The good thing about those things, you can trade 12 a.m., 1 a.m. versus like a stock. You have to wait till the stock market open up, or you have to wait till 4 a.m. type of deal. So that's a good thing about those things. But at the same time, like I said, when those things go down, they go down, they go up, they go up. You just never know what's going to happen. And right now, with everything going against it, I would say be more optimistic than being convinced and being sure. So, when you're being optimistic about it, you really don't want to put too much money into something that you're optimistic about, you're not sure about, you're not guaranteed about. So just be careful about that and be mindful when you get into those type of things. As always, I appreciate everybody joining in. You see me again in another 2 weeks. I definitely, can't wait to see where the market is at in 2 weeks from now. As always, any questions, any comments, drop a comment below. And like I said before, I definitely try to get to it. But as always, thank you for joining in and stay blessed. God bless.